Okay, so we have checked the definition of a contract under the Bayer Act.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I have shown the Bayer Act also or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So the definition is provided under the Indian Contract 1872 as shown by me in the previous class. So whether the concept of agreement was discussed or not, whether we have discussed the concept of agreement.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that means this slide we have already completed, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if the previous is completed, which is related to this slide, so in agreement there is a proposal and acceptance, only then we can say it's an agreement. So I hope this also we have discussed.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir. We
Okay.
didn't.
All right. So that means proposal plus acceptance is equal to agreement that we have to start. So just a quick recap. So we have discussed about the commercial transactions, contractual agreement. Agreement to do something is basically a contract. Involvement of commercial transactions. Agreement between two or more person. Again, it's an aspect related to contract. Now we will see agreement is repeating again and again this terminology. And also when we see section 2 clause H, it is stated that an agreement enforceable by law is a contract. So for contract, there must be an agreement which must be enforceable by law. Only then that agreement will be converted into a contract. So contract is nothing but an agreement which enforced or which is enforceable by law, then it is converted into a contract. So agreement will convert in a contract. So that means first we have to know the agreement. If we know the agreement, then we have to check the enforceability by law. Only then we can form a contract. Okay. So the definition of an agreement is provided under section 2 clause E. Every promise and every set of promises forming the consideration for each other is an agreement. So it must be that the just a moment. ठीक है मैं आता हूँ आप हैं अभी ऑफिस में so there is an agreement, there should be an agreement for the formation of a contract. If there is no agreement, there is no contract. So agreement is the first and foremost important aspect which we have to deal. Now whenever we talk about an agreement, as per the definition it is written that every promise and every set of promises forming the consideration for each other. Okay, so let me put it in the other manner. So Aditya Anand, whether you were here, Aditya,
Yes, sir.
please switch on your video also.
Sir, I have very poor bandwidth, sir. Sir, I'll switch it on after a while, sir.
Okay, so fine. Whether you able to hear me clearly?
Yes, sir. I can make out what you're saying, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
fine. Kindly be unmuted. Okay.
Yes,
There's
sir.
a question for you, Aditya. Aditya, anything recently you have purchased?
Sir, I purchased earphones, sir.
Earphone from online shopping?
Yes, sir. From Amazon Boat Rockers.
Okay. Anything offline you have purchased?
Anything offline, sir? Sir, yesterday I bought, sir, a packet of Lay's, sir. Nothing else.
Racket of?
Packet of Lay's.
I'm not able to
Lay's chips.
understand.
Lay's chips, sir. Chips.
Chips. Okay. Lays. Okay. Fine. Okay. So what is the process involved in purchasing the Lay's chips?
Sir, I went to the shop and then I handed the shopkeeper 10 rupees and then he gave me the packet.
Okay, let me restructure this. Okay,
Yes.
let me restructure your purchase. So please, everyone, please understand it very clearly, and please do give proper attention to this illustration, because we are going to understand this proposal plus acceptance is equal to agreement. Now, Aditya went to a shop and Aditya said, "Do you have a Lay's packet?" The seller said yes. Then Aditya said, "Please give me one packet of Lay's." And the seller said, "All right, give me 20 rupees, I'll give you the packet." Okay. The moment seller said yes, and the moment seller said that please give me 20 rupees. Now, this is an agreement. How it is an agreement? The agreement for one thing, for the purchasing of Lay's, the chips packet. Proposal given by Aditya that please give me one packet of Lay's. Then what the seller said? Seller said, yes, I'll give you, plus please pay me 20 rupees. Now, proposal given by Aditya, which is accepted by seller. What seller can do? Seller may say, I don't have Lay's packet, I'm having some other company. Or seller may say that whatever chips packet you want, I don't have that one, but I am having another flavor. But what happened? Whatever Aditya have asked, the seller accepted it, said, okay, I'll give. Every promise and set of promise, once seller accepted it, it's a promise. Now, what are the promises made by the seller and made by Aditya? So Aditya, question for you.
Yes, sir.
I hope you understand what I have stated.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Listen it very carefully. So, what is the promise you have made and what is the promise seller have made?
Okay, so the promise that I made is that I'll give him money uh, in exchange of the packet of Lay's, that I'll hand him over the money, the value of that
Okay,
Lay's packet.
absolutely correct.
Yes,
So
sir.
every promise and every set of promises, whether this is a set of promises or only a one promise. So this is a set of promises. Both the parties have promised amongst each other, forming the consideration for each other. What is the consideration from the side of Aditya and what is the consideration from the side of seller?
Yes, sir. So the consideration from my side is that I will hand him the value of that Lay's packet, the money in exchange of the product, and in exchange of the money, the seller will give me that packet, and then
No, that is a
our
promise.
agreement will be completed.
That is a promise. Okay. Forming the consideration for each other. Consideration is from the side of Aditya, the consideration is money, that is 20 rupees. From the side of seller, the consideration is chips packet. So if you see section 2 clause E, the promise by Aditya and seller forming the consideration that one will give money and other will give chips packet. This is an agreement. Proposal plus acceptance is equal to agreement. Forming the consideration, there is a consideration that Aditya is not purchasing the chips free of cost, or seller is not giving anything unless he get the money. So this is consideration. So this is an agreement. Now the other side, whether purchasing the packet of chips is legal or enforceable by law. Aditya, for you again.
Yes, sir.
Purchasing a chips packet is legal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of course, sir.
So if you see the previous definition, agreement, whatever the seller and Aditya is having, forming the consideration of each other. Whether it is enforceable by law, the answer is yes, because it is legal to purchase a chips packet. Then this agreement will be converted into a contract.
Contract.
I hope all of you able to understand what are the processes involved, what is the legality involved. Now, how about the packet of chips? If wrapped in a cocaine, or the chips were like we have done a salting flavor to that, a cocaine flavor was implemented in that, the chips, then absolutely not. It is not enforceable by law. It may be an agreement, but cannot
not
be
a contract.
converted into a contract. It may be an illegal agreement in that case.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is how what the agreement is. So that means the contract started with the concept of proposal, and proposal when accepted with consideration forms an agreement, and if that agreement enforced by law form a contract. So that is the process which is involved. Now please type in a chat box if the concept of agreement is not clear. If it is clear,
sir.
only then I will proceed further. The concept of agreement that we have discussed just now. And I am also expecting that you are writing these illustrations. Okay, very, very important. Otherwise, you will forget. The concept will be checked with the illustration. So I have not got any responses from any. Okay, one response I got only. So only one is there in a class. What about others? Please take part in the discussion. Okay. Okay, fine. I got the answer. So the purpose for this is, if anyone do not understand it, then I will repeat it again. So that's not an issue. Okay, so I got no dissenting opinion, and I will proceed further. And please do write the example which we have discussed just now. Okay. Don't take Aditya in the example. Keep the person X. Okay. Otherwise, you could have written this in the examination also. All right. So very, very important thing is the essential elements of a contract. Okay. This we have discussed. See, elaboratively, we are going to discuss so many things, but to understand the concept and the importance of a contract, we must know the essential elements of a contract. So these are the essential elements related to the contract, to the formation of a contract, for the execution of a contract, and all these elements are mandatory. If any one element is missing, then the contract cannot be formed. There could be an agreement, but there cannot be a contract. So that's why these are essential elements. All of 9 elements are essential. Agreement we have already discussed. Enforceable by law we have discussed. Competency of the parties, very, very important. Now, by the word of competency of the party, the word or the elaboration for this is whether everyone, that means a child of 10 years of age, can take part in a contract, can enter into a contract with someone else. What about a child of 12 years of age? Whether that child can enter into a contract, or entitled to purchase a train ticket, or entitled to purchase anything, or to sell any goods. I got the answers. Okay, so Isha, you have said yes. Isha, please unmute yourself.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Isha. So you have stated yes, that a 12 years old child can enter into a contract, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What makes you to say yes? That means what are the logic behind that?
So in case like parents giving their property to the child if he turns 18 or 21, that is also a contract.
But you have stated that 18 or 21. I'm talking about 12-year child.
No, sir, but they make that agreement that when the child turns 18 or 21 years, like according to them, then the child is inherited.
When
Then the
child turns 18, what about when child is 12 years of age?
so they make them sign the agreement or something like that.
Okay, so thank you, Isha, for your answer. Okay, let me put it in some other words. How about right to vote? Whether a child of 16 years, a boy of 16 years, the teenage, entitled to vote? When you are below 18, all of you, whether you are entitled to vote? So 18 or above, they are entitled to vote, isn't it? 18 or above. You should at least be 18 years of age or above 18 years. This scenario is called as a universal adult franchise. The legal terminology for that. Universal adult franchise, right to vote. Now, why we have given right to vote to 18 or above? Are you aware? That is, it is a societal concern and a belief that a person of 18 years or above is having a mature understanding, able to think by themselves, able to take a decision by themselves. In that case, when a person is of 18 years or above, they are entitled or they can maintain themselves, and they can do the things by themselves. They also having an intellectual understanding of the aspects, various perspective of the society. So that's why this age has been categorized or classified or fixed by the ministry or authority, again based on the concept enshrined in the Constitution of India. This universal adult franchise concept was embodied in the concept of Constitution. Now, when they believe that 18 or above are having some mature understanding to right to choose their own political persons, the political parties, then in a similar fashion, the Contract Act also have acted. And the Contract Act have stated that a minor is not entitled to enter into a contract. Okay. Whatever Isha has stated, that situation is an exceptional situation regarding the transfer of property. Okay. But still, she has also provided an answer with my question that once a child is 18 years of age, only then the property could be transferred. But she has stated that an agreement could be formed very early when a child is 12 years of age or 11 years of age. So here the answer, I cannot give concrete answer because for that I have to enter into a Transfer of Property Act. So for transferring any kind of property, there are certain separate laws which we are having. There is a separate Bare Act of Transfer of Property Act, which has provided some exceptions to the situation. Okay. And that exceptions regarding the transfer of property, we cannot answer at that point of time until unless we know Transfer of Property Act. Okay, that is one very important thing. Chirag, what happened? So many yes, so many S you have given. Chirag Jain,
Yes, sir.
what happened?
Sir, actually, it was typing error. I was not typing.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, so what I am saying that when we talk about normally when we talk about a contract, okay, So normally a contract, until and unless a person is major, then that person is not competent to enter into a contract. And there are certain provisions which are mentioned as section 11 and 12, which highlights this perspective that the parties who are entering into a contract must be competent to a contract. And competency here refers to different perspectives. One is regarding the age factor. That party must be at a particular age so that the party could enter into a contract, or person can enter into a contract. So both the parties must be competent to a contract. Okay, that means must have an age of majority. Whatever the age of majority is, must have the age of majority. So in almost all the cases, the age is 18 or above, not less than 18. Okay, there are exceptions, but as this point comes, at this moment, it is not relevant to discuss those. But straight away, you should remember this thing that the parties must be competent. That means 18 or above. Only then can enter into a contract. That is one thing. But there can be another thing. When we talk about the concept of parties, whether only human beings could be considered as a party, or non-humans can also enter into a contract. So let me put it, Akash Priyadarshan Sahu.
Yes, sir.
So please switch on your video also.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Akash. Akash, so what
Yes, sir.
about this? Whether only the human beings can enter into a contract, or a non-human can also enter into a
Sir,
contract?
non-human in sense, any constitution or institute, if they can.
Right?
Then yes, sir, they can.
Okay, let me put it with example. Now, are you aware of Reliance company?
Yes, sir.
Can we enter into a contract with Reliance?
Sir, in the company,
That's what I am asking.
no idea, sir.
No idea. Okay. Whether you are having a SIM of Jio?
Yes, sir.
Jio owned by which company?
Sir, Reliance.
Don't you have a contract with Reliance?
Yes, sir.
What happened? First you are saying yes, then you are saying no, then again you are saying yes.
No, sir. I thought of company, but yes, sir. In sense of that, then I am entered.
Entered in the contract with Jio. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I hope just keep it switch on. I'm going to ask very interesting thing.
Yes,
So that means I think majority of you are having the SIM of Jio, right? So at the same time, we are having a contract with Jio also, because at times whenever we face any difficulty, can we call to customer care of Jio?
yes, sir.
Isn't it? For any kind of trouble, we can directly call to customer care of Jio. Why? And why they are going to entertain us? Because we have a contract with them. They are bound to provide the services to us, isn't it? Because of a contract, they are charging money from us. What is the situation when we recharge our Jio, that number, that we are paying money to a company and they have to give services to us, proper network coverage, data 1.5 GB per day or 2 GB per day as per the plan. That is a contract with Jio. Now, how many of you are not aware of Jio? Please type in a chat box. Those who are not aware. Otherwise, I will take it that everyone is aware. Then I'll ask a question from Akash again. Akash, be prepared.
Yes, sir.
So I'm taking it as yes, that everyone is aware of the company Jio. Okay. Akash, How the Geo looks like? 6 feet 7 inch,
No, sir.
85 kg,
No, sir.
long hairs?
No, sir.
No. Then how it looks like?
Sir,
So those who are not Geo user, kindly take Airtel into existence or any other company. So Akash, what is your view? Have you seen Geo?
no, sir.
Or anyone have seen Geo? How it looks like? Which number, what is the shoe size of Geo? 8 India, 8 UK, 9, 7 feet or 5 feet. See, I have not seen, that's why I am asking. Because it was now finalized that Geo, we entered into a contract with Geo, but we have not seen it. Then with whom we have entered into a contract? Okay, so Akash, you can mute yourself and you can switch it off. Okay, I'm elaborating the thing now. And I hope you people were writing also. Okay, very, very important. Now, so I think every one of us are having the cell phone. At the same time, we have purchased some services by the companies like Jio, which is owned by Reliance, like Airtel, like Idea, and Vodafone, I think now merged with Idea, which is Idea earlier was an Escortel, and it is an Aditya Birla group, which is owned by Aditya Birla. Okay, so all these are the companies. Okay, so the point here is companies are also entitled to enter into a contract. All of you are having a contract with these companies. These SIM you are having. So you are free to contact to the customer care because you are in a contract with them. You are calling them for the services and they are bound to give you the services because of the aspect of a contract. So when you recharge your cell phone, it's not just a recharge. It's just you are renewing your contract. So as per the plan, you renew your contract, but with a contract, there are certain terms and conditions that they are going to give you services. If anything happens, if your signal is weak, if your net is not working properly, then you can directly give a complaint to them. And at the same time, if they don't give the services, then offer the users give the threats to the company owner that I will change the SIM, I'll change the company, I'll sue you in a court. So why? Because we are in a contract with the companies. Now, companies are included in the concept of parties. Okay, not only human beings. The point here is we cannot see a company. Okay, we can, because the company don't have a flesh, don't have a body, but company can own and possess the property. So how company comes into existence? So companies are a part of a legal fiction. It is called as a legal fiction. It is called as an artificial person. Legal fiction, artificial person. It is also called as a juristic personality. I hope you people were writing this. Okay, I don't want to repeat again and again. So I have taken 3 names: juristic personality, artificial person, legal fiction, which is what created by law. So company can only be called as a company unless it is registered as a company. If the company is not registered, we cannot say a body a company. So the company only comes into existence by law, when law creates it by way of certificate of incorporation. So we can see the certificate of a company, but there is no bodily existence of a company. It is invisible. It is only in document. Okay. How about a society? How about an NGO? How about a trust or an organization? All these could be a party to enter into a contract. All of them can enter into a contract as a party. But their competency, when we talk about a human being, the competency is related to the age factor. When we talk about the competency of these of the parties which are physically non-existent and legally existed, in that case we are talking about the certificate of registration. Sorry. Until and unless they are registered, they cannot enter into a contract. So their registration is the competency. So that is the competency of the parties. Okay, so companies, associations, NGOs, organizations, trust, sports federation, they all are included in the concept of parties, but provided that they should be registered. If they're registered, then law have created a fiction and law have termed them as an organization or as a company or as an association or an NGO or a trust. So whether the third point is clear? If there is anything you want to ask from point number 3, most welcome. If I got no question, then I will proceed further. Okay, so let us proceed further then. I got no question. Free consent. So it is also to be taken into consideration that the parties must enter into a contract with free consent. Okay, so let me post this question first. Deepshikha, you were absent in the previous class. Okay, Deepshikha Das, whether you are here in the class? Okay, not here, so I'm marking absent. Okay, Prachi Dhar.
Yes, sir.
Now, Prachi, switch on your video also.
Yes, sir.
Prachi, there is a very important aspect in a contract that the party must enter into a contract with their free will. There must not be any force. In many Indian movies, you might have seen that the villain puts a pistol on the head and asks the person, kindly sign the document and your property will be ours. Are you aware of such kind of incidents?
Sir, is it kind of undue influence or something?
It's a kind of coercion. If you are
Yes.
naming it legally, then the legal terminology is a coercion. So what I have done, let me put it in this manner. Prachi, your specs cost how much?
Sir, in the sense?
Your specs which you are wearing.
Sir, this is of 2000.
2000 rupees. Let's make it 3000. Take it upper hand.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Prachi, I hope everyone is able to see the specs of Prachi. So her specs costing rupees 3000. Now what happened? I like the specs, and then I had put a gun on the head of Prachi and stated, I am giving you 300 rupees. Kindly deliver your specs. Prachi have taken 300 rupees. She has delivered her specs. Whether it's a contract, whether there's a consideration from both the side. Prachi, whether there's a consideration from both of us.
I don't think so, sir.
No, there's a consideration. You are giving specs and I am giving you money.
Sir, but any unlegal thing is not allowed, any coercion or thing.
Okay, so first thing is, you have given your specs, I have given you money. Do you accept this? It happens. You have to accept it because you have taken 300 rupees. Forcefully, I had put this 300 rupees.
So, but if you're forcefully doing it, it cannot be a contract
I'm coming to
because
that
no
point.
coercion is allowed.
I'm coming to that point. But the point here is whether there is a consideration from both the side.
Yes, sir.
I'm taking a specs without giving a money. That is so definitely a crime. I'm giving you money and then I'm taking a specs. Okay. Firstly, consideration from both the side. Secondly, it's an agreement. But there is one thing missing. The missing part is whether Prachi has willfully entered into a contract or whether willfully enter into this transaction. So the answer is no. Why she has entered? Because there's a gunpoint. There's a threat, which is in legal term called as a coercion. It is called as coercion. Coercion means forcing someone illegal by using illegal means. Illegal means like this threatening, okay, kidnapping. So these are illegal acts. Okay. Now, the point here is what law says regarding this. Please listen it very, very carefully. Law says that if Prachi has accepted these 300 rupees by force and she has delivered her specs to me, in that case, it will be a contract. Undoubtedly, it will be a contract. First thing is this, what law states. Second thing, what law says that whether Prachi is not satisfied with the transaction, so the answer is yes. So if Prachi wants to make this contract zero, reverse, then law have given certain sections under Indian Contract Act that if party wants to continue with the same transaction, that if Prachi don't want to complain to anyone and she has taken 300 rupees, accepted that transaction, accepted that as a contract, fine, no one is going to intervene in that. But if Prachi wants to cancel this contract, it is a contract. If Prachi wants to cancel the contract, then she can avail certain rights provided in various sections of Indian Contract Act. She can approach the court and communicate the court about the transaction, and the court can declare the transaction null and void. That means court will reverse the transaction, court will make the transaction as zero. So the first lesson is, even if there is no free consent, contract could be formed. But if party whose consent is forced to enter into a contract, that party got the right from the Contract Act, that is a Bare Act, that party can go to court and make a contract null and void, that is zero.
Excuse me, sir.
First, I'll just hold. First thing is this, that even if there is a force, if party wants to continue with it, it's a contract. If a party don't want to continue with it, party can go to court and ask the court to cancel a contract. In that case, court will declare it, and this terminology in law, it is called as voidable contract. That is the legal terminology. Okay, so now back to Prachi. You were asking something.
No, sir. That only I was asking. It's this a voidable or void
That's
contract?
why I have stated you, please take a pause. Okay, because
Yes.
I'm going to cover these things. Okay, sometimes at times it is required that everyone should hold on for just 15 to 20 seconds. Might be you able to get the answer. Okay,
Thank you.
So that is all. Prachi, you can mute yourself. Thank you very much for participating in this. Okay, so whether point number 4 is clear. So the logic here is there must be a free consent in a contract. So parties should enter with a free consent so that contract can be formed formally and without any flaws, without any lacunas. So let me put it in the other manner. Okay, I'll put it in other manner in after some time. So is that clear? The concept of free consent, that there must be no pressure to enter into a contract. There must not be any pressure. Okay. So let me post one more question. Mrinal Das. Mrinal. Okay, I'm marking absent. Lovelina, you are in a class.
Yes, sir.
Lovelina, kindly switch on your video also. Okay. So Lovelina, not only the goods or monetary transaction, but also services could be purchased. And in last class, we have discussed that whenever there is a contract for services, it is also a contract. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
if you are not comfortable, then switch it off or mute
No,
yourself.
sir, but I'm having some problem.
Okay. Okay, Lovelina, please you mute yourself and switch off your video also. Because now I'm thinking to quote this illustration a little later. Let me cover all other aspects first.
Okay,
Fifth is lawful consideration. Okay. So there must be consideration from both the sides, as we have discussed a little before, that from both the sides there should be consideration. If there is no consideration from either of the sides, in that case, contract couldn't be formed. Okay. So Abhishek Chandra, you are in the class, Abhishek?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Abhishek, good morning. Abhishek, what recent thing you have purchased? Recently, have you purchased anything?
Online or offline?
Offline. Or take it online, no issues.
Sir, online I have purchased a book.
Okay, how much it cost?
Sir, 400 rupees.
Can you purchase a book without any cost, without paying a money?
No, sir, it is not possible, sir. But if
Can you purchase anything without paying a money?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
So, which means that there must be consideration from both the sides.
Yes, sir.
When you pay anything for purchasing of goods, so from your side money, from the other side anything that you are referring books. So book is a consideration from the side of seller. So we can also purchase the services, Abhishek.
Yes, sir.
Any services you have purchased as of now till date? How about the services of electrician?
Yes, sir. Sir, transportation.
How about the services of a plumber?
Yes, sir.
How about the services of a painter?
Yes, sir.
So these services could be purchased. Okay. So these services also considered as a consideration. Now the law says not only consideration, the consideration must be a lawful consideration. There must be a lawful consideration. Okay. So you can, Abhishek, you can just switch it off and you mute yourself. All right. Thank you, Abhishek. So law says that in these sections, these are the related provisions for the lawful consideration. These provisions says that we are not only referring to the concept of consideration, but also a lawful consideration. There must not be an illegal consideration. Okay. So there is one example, and I want the answer from all of you in a chat box. That there's a question in way of in the form of illustration that there is a person Y who have given you a proposal that if you give me 5 lakh rupees, I will help you in getting a job as an IAS, Indian Administrative Services. I hope all of you are aware of IAS. So that person have given a proposal that if you give 50,000 rupees as a consideration from your side, I will give my services to get a job as an IAS. So the point here is whether there is a lawful consideration from both the sides, whether it is lawful, what other the services which the other party is giving, whether it's lawful. So I want the answer in a chat box. So I have started getting the correct answer. The answer is absolutely it's not possible, because to get the job as an IAS, you have to crack UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, the examinations. Okay. Now I'm rephrasing this example. If the same person have asked that give me 50,000 rupees, I am going to teach in such a manner that it help you to crack the UPSC examination. Whether then the services are lawful, whether it's lawful consideration. So the answer is absolutely yes. Okay. So I hope you're able to understand the difference between these two. So whatever the consideration a person is giving, the consideration must be lawful consideration. Okay. If it is unlawful, it is illegal, it cannot form the contract. It may be an agreement, but may be just an illegal agreement. It will not be converted into a contract. So there must be a lawful consideration. Okay. Okay, so till point number 5, and we will continue our class in the next. That means we'll continue this PowerPoint presentation in the next lecture due to the shortage of time. So I hope till 5th point you able to understand. If there is anything, any question in your mind, then feel free to ask the question. If there is anything in your mind, otherwise I'll take the attendance and then I'll finish it. I'll close the meeting for the day.